What's going on, everybody? This is Steven Steffen, and this is my first impressions of Madden 18. A little bit about my background in Madden. I've been playing for about 12 years now. Played on the PC quite a bit when it was available on the PC, and been playing it on the Xbox platform for the last several years. I'm in two competitive connected franchises, Gridiron Racers and Juan Madden, and definitely looking forward to getting those seasons started. I just wanted to do a first impressions video to show you kind of the ins and outs of Madden 18 and what's changed from this year's game to last year's game and whatnot. I did two full games, well, one full game and 1.5, as my online opponent quit in the start of the fourth quarter. But basically ran two different game types. So in this year's game, there are three different modes. There is the arcade mode, the competitive mode, and the simulation mode. And I played with the simulation and the competitive mode. So my first game, as you see on the screen, I'm basically going to run just straight through here until I'm finished explaining the differences of the game and kind of let you see the gameplay and hear some of the game sounds. First and foremost, I played the simulation. I used my Cincinnati Bengals. I played against the Carolina Panthers offline. The CPU, I played on all pro. Didn't play on all Madden. And I just wanted to see kind of how simulation played. And to be honest with you, I was pretty happy with it. It played really, really smooth and realistic, and it should. I mean, it's a simulation. So, as you'll see in some of the highlights, defense was a premium. Both teams were pretty much not able to move the ball very well. The defense was just dominant. There was a lot of sacks, a lot of drop balls, and one thing I noticed in simulation is the receivers drop a lot of balls. The quarterbacks make a lot of errant passes, and it's really more realistic than any other Madden I've played. And the main thing about the simulation is there was not a lot of big plays, which is pretty realistic in my opinion. There's a lot of punting in real football. There is big plays, but the simulation did a really good job of simulating the game. So as you see in the gameplay video, the graphics are absolutely phenomenal. You will notice a difference in the graphics from Madden 17 immediately. The field looks so great. The players look great. The Frostbite engine is on point, and there was really no weird moves or weird animations or anything that didn't work in the two games I've played. I'm really impressed with the graphics and the overall presentation of the game. In this game here in Carolina, actually the last game I attended, an NFL game, was a Carolina Panther game, and the crowd and everything that they say is very, very realistic. Sounds really, really good. They scream Luke when Luke makes a tackle. They booed quite a bit, and the crowd really, really reacts to a lot of the plays in the game, unlike some of the previous Maddens, in my opinion. So that was a cool aspect. That's something I really enjoy in the game, is the realistic atmosphere, and I think they did a great job of that in this year's game. So you can see the presentation's about the same as M17. They show the offensive line, and they show the running backs, tight ends, and receivers, and then of course they spotlight the quarterback. That's about the same. They did have different player intros, which was really cool, and the game overall looks great. So you're going to notice that almost immediately. The Frostbite engine, like I said, is really, really smooth. So I enjoyed all the tackling animations. Everything looked really realistic, and overall the game was super fun to play on simulation. So I'm hoping that my two leagues decide to play simulation. I didn't really notice a whole lot in in the defense as far as lurking. And in Madden 17, you were very successful in holding the ball hawk button. The linebacker would basically just levitate to the ball if you were holding the ball hawk button, and that's not the case in Madden 18, at least in simulation. I couldn't really get that to work, but as you'll see later in this video on my online game, it actually did work one time. So I'm not sure if it's completely eliminated yet, but they definitely did a great job of dumbing it down. So as you can see, the play calling menu is basically the same. Baseline, you can still protect the sticks. Everything's basically the same for Madden 17. It plays very similar, but it has a lot more animations, and it feels like the offensive line and the running game, they just move smoother, and it's easier to go through the holes. It's easier to evade the offensive line. You can actually hit the RB button, and the running back will kind of try to scoot through the offensive line. And I don't think that existed in Madden 17. It may have, but I just remember Madden 17 being kind of a clusterfuck and trying to get through all the offensive line. So that's been fixed, and for the most part, the game is really fun. And I feel like the simulation mode is very smooth. The defense played pretty well. There was a lot of drop passes. As we'll kind of run this, I'll let you see the Bengals' first possession, and there's a lot of drop passes, which is very realistic if you're a Bengals fan. Dalton throws terrible balls all the time, and you'll see that, as well as the Bengals have one of the worst offensive lines in NFL. And I got sacked quite a bit because Carolina has a really, really good defensive line and linebacking core. So that was pretty realistic. I was pretty happy with the way the simulation turned out. And so I'm just gonna let you guys watch a little gameplay and listen to some of the sounds. The commentary is about the same as Madden 17. It's very, very, very similar. They do say different things, but for the most part, they follow what's going on in the game very well, as they did in Madden 17. It's still Brandon Davis and Charles Godden, and they sound pretty realistic. So I was happy with the commentary, and the presentation of the game is phenomenal. I think the presentation is what you'll notice the most about Madden 18 to 17. The presentation is just so much better, and the graphics are just... I didn't think the graphics could get any better, but they're way better than Madden 17, and the players look more realistic, and they move more realistic, and I think overall it's been a great improvement to Madden 17, and it should be a lot of fun. So I'm going to shut up and let you see some gameplay, and then I am going to come back and show you what it looks like with the competitive mode, which is actually quite a bit different. As you see, AJ Green dropped a wide open pass there. That's something that would not happen on the competitive mode, as you'll see. So just stay tuned, and hopefully you can kind of get a good look at the Madden 18.
Was right there by him, and I think he was thinking first down before he caught that football.
Yeah, gotta catch it first, because if you don't catch it, there's no chance of picking up a first down.
Punting now is Huber as he sends it away. Fielded at about the 28. It still won't go down. 12 yards on the return that time.
Want to see some offense. They want to see somebody break away, whether it's through the air or on the ground. Now it'll be interesting.
Off the bootleg, Newton. And that one is incomplete. And it also concludes quarter number one.
Drop the shoulder or create or get through contact or trash. Makes it a lot easier to stay upright, see the field, and make a run, as we just saw there.
And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up fourth down. They start on the ground. This is Stewart on first. And he'll take the offensive line, not helping him much. On second down, they run with Stewart. And he'll get this. Play action. It's Newton. And he finds a man. It's Olsen. And he'll be taken down. Now a play fake here on first down. And no escaping. First and 10 for Dalton. And no escape. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's second down.
Luke Kuechly combines speed, intelligence, toughness, puts it all together. It makes plays like one we just saw there. He may not be a big-time blitzer, but boy, he knows how to pursue strength.
To throw here, Dalton. Complete to the right side. It's Eifert. The Bengals passing game finding a rhythm. They've got another first. And that is no good.
That sheet, but they do set you up in good position on second down.
Now a 10th carry for Jonathan Stewart. And brought down, but not before reaching the 45-yard.
I can just tell you from experience, the first few quarters, oh, you're eager. You come running up there. I'm going to tackle this guy. By the fourth,
there goes Jonathan Stewart. A great run that time by Stewart. And even 50 yards.
To the guy running the football. He gets it down all the...
And he'll take this into the end zone. Touchdown, Carolina. And Dixon. Reserve this potential victory on second down now. Hill. And he'll get it up to the 30. Here's Dalton. He's going to let it fly. That's caught inside the 20.
Oh, figure out which play will work well. He's trying to figure out how.
And he can't get a throw off. He'll look to throw. And caught right side, Green. And he'll go down here right around the 23-yard line. That catch good for 5. It's third down. They'll get to the line here, but remember, it's also third down. Back to throw. Got a man, it's Ross, complete. And they do. On the toss, Mixon. And he gets halfway there. They come out here in the eye. Here's a run with Mixon. And he is not going to get in as the big bodies stop him at the 1. And now prior to this 3rd and 1, we're going to get a timeout here, as it'll come with 15 seconds to play in the ball game. So the offense took the timeout. Looks like they're ready to go as we get set to resume the action. Well, they held him out on second down, and now here's 3rd and goal. He's back to throw. And he is across and in for the score. Couldn't connect.
So as you can see, my first Madden 18 game went to overtime, and it was a pretty competitive game. Despite the bomb to A.J. Green and double coverage, everything pretty much was realistic to me. I mean, that could happen in real life, but the chances are pretty slim. That was the only thing that I saw that was really like, all right, this is the old Madden. But as you watch, I'm just gonna roll overtime because it's not very long, and they do the coin toss as normal. And of course the Panthers win the coin toss. But overall, this game was super competitive, and I was pretty surprised that bomb and double coverage and desperation mode to AJ actually worked. That was kind of disappointing, to be honest. But I was able to score, as you saw, and Cam's getting ready to bring the troops out here, and just you can see what happens. But we're getting ready to go into the competitive mode, which is completely different. And I know this video is very long, and I apologize for that, but I feel like it gives the most detail. And as usual, the Cincinnati Bengals blow it, missed 3 tackles, and the Panthers hit a walk-off home run basically, and so that's pretty realistic. I feel like that could have actually happened in real life. The Bengals could obviously lose that game in overtime, and I was pretty happy with the simulation part of the game. So I'm hoping that my leagues. All I really do is play league play in Madden. I hope they both run the simulation. And stay tuned because you're about to see the competitive side. So it's quite a bit different, as you'll see here shortly. Okay, so here's part 2 of the first impressions video of Madden 18. This is an online game. My opponent's using the Detroit Lions. Of course, I'm my Cincinnati Bengals. As you can see, the first play of the game should have been a user lurk. I was actually holding Y there, and it didn't intercept it. So I thought that maybe they eliminated that, but you'll see later in the game maybe they didn't. So one thing I forgot to mention is in Madden 18, your defender basically has a spotlight on whoever they're guarding. As you can see, he just roasts me in cover 3. And one thing in the simulation mode, defense was king. I mean, they played zones well. Man-to-man was tough to beat. The quarterbacks made terrible throws. And in this mode, it really gave me the feel of Madden 17. Basically, everything was thrown almost on point every time. There was no drops in this game. You'll see it's basically a shootout. Here I score in 3 plays almost, and there's just no defense. So the zones were basically obsolete. I mean, they didn't even exist to me. And it was pretty easy to score. I'm not sure if it was because of the teams or my opponent's skill level, but I felt like my opponent knew what he was doing. He was not terrible by any means. So as you can see, we're basically going back and forth. Another drag route and some missed tackles. And both of us were moving the ball at will, and I didn't really get that feel in the simulation mode. In this mode, it just kind of, there was really, like I said, just no defense, as you can see. And that would have been another user lurk in Madden 17. So I'm not really sure if it is completely gone or not. But it definitely has been toned down. It's definitely not a magnet to the ball like it was in Madden 17. So, and again, he just streaks in cover 3, and cover 3 really gets destroyed. He hot routed a streak there, and he got me on that twice. So here I go running the ball, and again, in this mode, I feel like it's a lot easier to run the ball than it has been in the previous in simulation, and the screens are still extremely effective, as that was a screen to AJ, and the blocks held. There just was no defense. It just gave me a feel of just no defense. It was really easy to score. Kind of disappointing, to be honest with you. I was hoping that the defense would be a little bit better, but here my opponent will go to no huddle, and I wanted to see kind of how no huddle worked, and it's still pretty effective. It's still pretty difficult to stop. I just kind of stayed in cover 3s. He's wide open. I don't know what my zones were doing, but they were wide open all game, and I'm just going to keep this rolling as he stays in no huddle and basically just goes straight down the field and scores pretty quickly. He hot routes a couple times, but like I said, this in my opinion was not as fun as simulation. I felt like simulation was more realistic, and as a Madden player, I want a realistic game. I know a lot of Madden players would rather have the high scoring and big play games like this one, but my personal opinion, I really enjoy the realistic aspect of the game and it being a sim. Madden's really never been a sim. It's always been kind of an arcade game. I haven't tried arcade, but I feel like competitive mode is pretty close to that, and it felt like Madden 17 more than the simulation mode did, as every now and then they actually will cover their zones, but there were several times in this game, as you can see, and there's my user alert. So right there, I was holding Y and it worked, and then I had a achievement come up and it lagged my game. And I'm not sure if that was because I'm streaming on my Xbox or if that's just a lag, but I ran out of bounds, and that should have been a pick 6. So anyway, I tried to run the ball here once or twice, and the running game is pretty effective in competition mode, as you can see. It's pretty difficult to stop, and there just really wasn't any. And he was running engage 8 a lot when I was running the ball, and I was still able to run the ball pretty efficiently, which the Bengals' offensive line is not that good, so I'm really not sure how they will stack up when I start league play if we do competition mode. And then he just runs 2 inside zones and just basically just runs straight up huge holes. So terrible tackling by me, and but it just goes to show how effective offense is. And I never got a feel of defense. And again, they're running the screens. He blitzed a lot, so I just exploited that. And AJ was being an absolute beast, carrying defensive linemen's 4 yards. And I was able to move the ball pretty efficiently on this drive and able to get into field goal range. A huge out route there. AJ was basically had his back to the ball and still made that catch. So that wasn't. I feel like in simulations mode, he would have dropped that. Here I just tried to test the on the run, the throw on the run, and Dalton made a terrible throw, which he should. So I was pretty happy to see that. Back with Jeremy Hill, and Bernard gets 2 animations, the same animations. It's the first time I've seen the 2 animations. And so I just settled for a field goal. And this opens the second half again. Threw it out of bounds, but intentional grounding. So I will say I have not seen any penalties other than that one right there. There was no holding penalties in the simulation, which I don't know if by default that's how it is. Is John Ross is just a beast at 98 speed, is going to be awesome to work with this year. As you can see, just in this game in general, streaking really seems to kill the cover 4, the cover 3, the cover 2. The zones just do not play the deep ball very well when you streak a fast receiver, as he got me twice on it, and I just got him with John Ross. This drive I actually have a defensive stand for the most part, which surprised me. So I'm not sure if it's the teams or the skill level. I feel like I'm a pretty decent defensive player, and in this game it was just both of us could move the ball at will. So I still have to play a lot more games and test a lot more to see if competition mode or competitive mode is better than simulation. But from the game I played in simulation, the game I played here online in competitive mode, I really prefer simulation. So I think you'll just need to test it out and try it out for yourself. And like I said, I missed the user alert there, as you saw. But that's definitely been dumbed down. Another missed user lurk. I feel like those would have been 2 or 3 user lurks in Madden 17. As they caught everything. A really weird animation on the sneak there. He dove and no one even touched him. That was kind of weird. But for the most part, the game is still fun. I just prefer the simulation mode a little bit more over the competitive mode. They say that the competitive mode really emphasizes stick skills. I didn't get that feel. As you can see, I dropped a few user lurks and actually finally had one. And like I said, it's just going to take more time to test. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with Madden 18. It's a fun game, and I think that it is a huge improvement over 17 with the graphics presentation and all that. And I think they did a good job. I just wish the zones would play a little bit smarter. They played pretty smart in Madden 17, and I know that led to a lot of interceptions, so they dumbed it down a lot for Madden 18. As I missed another user lurk. and those are frustrating. But here we're 3rd and goal, and I'm actually going to wind up stuffing him. And then here, 4th and goal, I finally end the game basically, and my opponent quits after this goal line stand. So a good start to the online game for Madden 18, but I like simulation, so I'm going to continue to test and definitely do videos as you see my opponent quit, and that pretty much wraps it up. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, as I'll try to be uploading as often as possible, and we'll definitely be doing some all of my league games. Still debating whether I should do highlights or actual every play in the game like I did in this video. So if you guys want to comment or let me know, that'd be great. Until next time, I'll see you later.